So number 1 tells us that we're going to calculate the cost of any inventory using the FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average methods. There are 16 units in our ending inventory. So that is a number that we really need to pay attention to. That means that we only have 16 units left in our inventory. Okay? So what we need to do then, what am I going to fill in first? Anybody know? If I have 16 units left, what should I fill in first? My units on hand that I have. Okay, so my units on hand, I know that I'm going to have a total of 16 units. So I'm going to go ahead and put in that number first, 16 units. What we know then is whatever we put into this column needs to equal to 16 units. That's all we have left. Now, first in, first out means the first thing that we buy is the first thing that we sell. We're looking at what we have inventory left over. So are we going to take from the top or are we going to take from the bottom for our inventory left over? The bottom. Good. Because first in, first out means this up here, we've already sold this. We bought it first, we sold it first. Our leftover inventory then is going to come from the bottom. Okay? So, how many are we going to take from this November 8th? We're going to take 9. Okay, so FIFO units on hand, we have 9 units. Each unit is $38 for what is going to be our FIFO cost then. $342. How many units do we have left? 7. So how much are we going to take at this next price? Huh? 7. We're going to take 7. So there were 8, but because of first in, first out, that means one of those we've already sold. We're only going to take 7 from that price. So 7 at $36, you'll need to use your calculator, is what? $252. Anything else? What am I doing here? So what else? What do I need? I need to total. Good. I need to total then my FIFO cost, which is, so this shows us that we have 16 units left in our inventory, and those 16 units are priced at $594. Okay. Questions on FIFO? Okay, LIFO is going to be the exact opposite then. Okay, LIFO is last in, first out. So meaning these down here at the bottom, the last things that we bought are the first things to leave. Okay, so that means that our inventory that we have left over is going to come from the top this time. We have 16 again. If you notice, this is the exact same numbers. It's just we're using a different method this time. Okay. So what are we going to, where are we going to take our first units from? The beginning inventory. How many are we going to take? All 14 of them. Our total cost then is $420. What else are we going to take? How much do we have left? We have 2. So we're going to take 2 from our next purchase because these last ones are already sold. They were the first to go. Okay, so we only have 2 left at that $32 price, which is $64. To find out our total LIFO cost, which is okay, now our weighted average. Our weighted average is exactly that. We're going to take an average of those prices because we're not looking at the first things that we sold or the last things that we sold or bought, okay? Here we're just looking at an average of all of them. So what we need to do is we need to figure out some math. We need to do some problem solving before we figure out that price, okay? So what should I do first? Do we know how much each of these purchases are? No, we want to find out the totals, okay? So go ahead and do that. The first one is 14 times 30 and so forth. And if you saw, remember these are all the same numbers, so it really is written right up here too. So then we do need to figure out our total. So we have 50 units. Our total should be that 1,678. Okay, so this then is our total of beginning inventory and purchases. Okay, and this is our total beginning inventory and purchases. So I'm going to take that number. How many units do I have? I had 50 units. So I'm going to divide that total by my 50 units. That tells us, on average, those units were $33.56. Now, how many units do I have left over? I have 16 units. Okay, so we're going to assume we're going to use this average price, and we're going to say, okay, these 16 units priced out at $33.56 is going to be our cost of our inventory. Now, when you look at these numbers, okay, these are all for the same purchases, the same numbers, everything. We see that our FIFO method is going to give us a cost of $5.94. Our LIFO method is going to give us a cost of $4.84, and our weighted average $36.96. Okay, so when we look at these, really our price difference is going to be $100 around in that area. Okay, that's not a huge difference. Is there one that's right or one that's better than the other? No, it's good. It's going to depend on the business, what type of business you're doing. We've talked about, like, last week we gave that example of a grocery store. Okay? The grocery store is going to, whatever they buy first is hopefully going to be what they sell first, because they're going to have more of expiration dates. So they're going to probably use that FIFO method, first in, first out. Okay? For other things it might not matter, so they might be able to use that last in, first out, or the weighted average. It's just going to depend on what kind of company that you're running. One thing that I did say, page 572, on page 572, you probably want to look at this chart and you want to know the difference between them. Here it's saying, okay, relative cost of ending inventory. If you use FIFO, that's going to give you your highest number. If you use LIFO, it's going to give you your lowest number, and weighted average is just going to be intermediate, right in the middle there. Okay. And then the relative of cost of merchandise sold, FIFO is going to give you the lowest number, LIFO will give you the highest number, and that weighted average is going to be intermediate. Okay, so I would say look at this section for that test. Okay, questions on 19 to work together? Okay, I don't think that you will need a lot of time then. I'm going to give you probably 10 minutes to do 19.2 on your own, and then we're going to move on to 19.3.